Okay, we're going to start here in a minute, just getting set up. Just give me 1 second, everybody. Stupid 2 forms of verification. We did it, cool. All right, I'm going to verify that sent, and then I think we're good to go here. So let me just get started with this live stream in a second. Let's see here. I think we're good to go. Cool. Chat's in there. We're going to get started with this live chat. Wait for... I'm going to share this just so we can get people hopping in. Does this tell me? Sorry, guys. I'm just kind of messing with some of these. Cool. We got a couple viewers. Awesome. Cool. So we're going to get started with this. I'm just going to kind of just experiment with this a bit. I do want to put it where the chats are going to be able to be seen. I'm going to see if I can mess with that while we're waiting on a couple being. Oh, hey, Icky. I think you're out of the Denver meta, aren't you? With Trevor and I don't know. Would you say Denver or just Colorado meta? I'm not sure where you lie in. I think there's like a north and south side that you guys kind of keep playing in. So let me see if I can chat browser. I love messing with this stuff live, but that's kind of how you figure it out. Cool. What faction are you playing right now? Hopefully Bayou. Add existing. Let's try that. Nope. All right, we're not messing with that right now. Not messing with that right now. Boop. All right, we're just going to stick with this. I'm going to play with it and figure out how I can get the chat to kind of filter in there. It's kind of weird to get it overlaid, but you guys can see the chat on the side, so that's cool. But welcome, Rage Nation, to another stream. We're going to get started with it. I wanted to talk about basically my thoughts on, I have games now with the new Bogg, new Mctavish, and I've played against the new Sonya. So I wanted to kind of just walk through my thoughts with it and just kind of how the games went, and if I think the changes are good or bad. And we'll kind of just go there, right? And just kind of see how what you guys think about it and kind of what you all think about it. This is another thing I want to start doing just so we can just start streaming more, because we got a lot of good reactions off of the errata stream that we did. And I think people like talking and getting feedback about just reactions to these cards. Plus, it just gets more content out there for the podcast, but also in a video format, because people like to kind of see their see the things that they like to play in the game. Or also, if you are going to play against some of this stuff, kind of what is it doing on the table. So I'm going to start with Mctavish, and then I'm going to go into Bogg, and then I'm actually going to talk a little bit about Sonya as well, just so that way people can just get some ideas of actual game experience, because I know not everybody has time to dump into games and playing these new models. So I'm just going to spend some time talking about it. If you want to support the podcast, there's a couple ways to do it. You could become a patron, which we always appreciate our patrons. They get content early. They get information about what's going on in the podcast first. They get to choose what topics sometimes we're talking about. They get to, when we record live, they get to join us live and ask questions or just chat while we're chatting with the guests. So you can become a patron, just patreon.com/RageQuitWire. Any support is great, just to help the podcast kind of keep the lights on. So that's the first way you can support us. We also do have an affiliation link. I have that posted, I think, in the comments. And then there's a new third way that you can support us if you want. This is something that just became available just because we've had enough traction on YouTube now where you can actually do, I believe the kids call them super chats. So if you want to do one of those random chats, tag some money to it, any of it helps podcasts keep going, um, because the software and everything else isn't free. And then also traveling to some of these events that you guys like getting feedback and reports about. Obviously, those travel expenses are expensive. So anything that you guys give us, we appreciate. And it's something new that we have on Facebook. I think there's thanks you can give to, there's whatever these stickers are. I like stickers. I give them to patrons. If you're at the Houston Down, I got a bunch of Rage Quit Wire stickers I'm going to be giving out. And also, some of those Rage Quit Wire stickers are going to be coming to Australia. So you guys can enjoy that. I'm going to try to get some to Rich when we do our trade. And then Liam, I think I'm going to be able to send a couple to him too. So Australia should be getting some of those cool Rage Quit Wire stickers here in a second. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started on this. So I had a couple games with McTavish. I'm probably playing him again tonight, to be honest. And I didn't know how I'd feel about him because I've never been a big McTavish fan. I know there's some people that loved him. I was not one of them. I thought his gun was kind of meh. It used to be stat 5. It didn't have, I don't believe, this armor piercing trigger. Also, this I can dig it trigger just to drop a scheme marker. And it's in base contact with this model. So think about, there's a lot of instances where, you want to walk, or in this case, you're going to do on the move with McTavish. When you activate him, he just gets a 3-inch move. Not a push, it's a move, which did come up in one of the games I played. I was able to kind of skirt behind a forest to avoid, I was actually playing against Damien, so Damien didn't have a line of sight to McTavish. I was able to kind of move so that I didn't have to discard cards to get effect or effects, triggers. So actually, not even that. I think with Damien, you have to discard a card to do the same action again, something along that effect. But anyways, there was a lot of times where I moved with on the move, and I was like, cool, I want to drop a scheme marker, but with this new trigger, I can dig it, which is either on the bonus or it's on his long carbine. You can now get a shot off to ping some damage, and you can also drop that scheme with a crow trigger, which I found very useful when I was playing new McTavish, because I was able to be like, hey, I got a decent crow. It's stat 6 now, so pretty much as long as you have like a 12, you're gonna auto hit. So I had like a 12 of crows, and I was just able to use that to get I can dig it, put 2 to 4 damage, maybe even 5 if I got lucky, and just really, really get efficiency, which is Dixon and I have been doing this series of like, hey, what models do we want fixed? And models that just aren't as efficient just aren't seeing as much play. So they really did a good job, I feel like, making McTavish more mobile and also making him more efficient. Gator Scramble is a fantastic bonus. But I really like that I can dig it trigger, because that allowed me in the game I played to not only get a shot off, but then to also just drop a scheme marker, which I believe I scored protected territory off of, which was really, really cool. He's unimpeded, so severe terrain doesn't matter. So all those forests and whatever else slow terrain he doesn't care about. Swamp Screen, I don't know if that one's going to come up a ton, but it's a thing. The more you play him, the more you'll probably find it just comes up, and it might help every now and then. Expert Shot's great. So he's ignoring friendly fire, ignoring concealment with the gun. Cover is a problem that you do have to use the mobility to try and get around cover, because obviously with his long carbine, you don't want to be just doing min 2 damage on a lot of models, especially if you're stoning for that armor piercing. You want it to be a straight flip. That way, if you don't hit it, you can cheat in that sexy 5 damage ignoring armor. Maim did come up where I felt like it was good to discard a card. But yeah, you want to be avoiding cover, because any negatives is going to be really, you don't want to do 2 damage on that gun. I did notice that when I was playing. There was a couple times where it didn't matter. I was just hitting a minion, but on the models that you want to take out with McTavish, you want to try to get to straight flips. So definitely that. Um, so I did enjoy his long carbine, and I did enjoy actually Savage Bite with the Gator came up. It's min 3, so with puncture in there, and there was a time where it was more efficient for me to chomp a minion with puncture because then I could guarantee getting to the 5 damage. Because once again, getting to a straight flip, you really want to make McTavish sing. You really want to get to that 5 damage either on the gun or the Savage Bite. So if you're going after a defense 5 model, once you get close enough for melee, definitely the Savage Bite's nice, but you really want to leverage that gun. There was kind of a sick list that I brought, and I'm going to see if I got this real quick. See if my crews are on here. The app's been a little buggy with some of these crews. Yeah, there it is. Maw guns out. So I did play this list with Maw Tucket. So you can see I put 12 cups on Maw, but I brought 2 Bushwhackers, Jebediah, and McTavish. So really having some of these ridiculous guns just to really kind of smash and cause a lot of pain. So I mean, you have a 246 gun with Jebediah. You have a 245 gun with McTavish. You have the Bushwhackers who have a 235, but that also includes crit strike. So a lot of just real, and they're range 14, 12, just long guns. So I felt like really leveraging this and McTavish and the other guns. It was corner and it was raid the vaults. So I was really able to leverage that long distance shot because not only do you have 14-inch range on several guns, but obviously when you're playing Maw Tucket, Horrible Hollerin' is really good. That's that 5-inch push, so you can really use her, and you can use the little lass to really use Horrible Hollerin' to get your models where you want them to be. So pull this up real quick. There we go. Cool. I'm just trying to keep the chat up so that way if I see any of your chats, if you have questions, comments about these models, definitely happy to share with y'all. And like I said, also, sorry, I saw something that was on there. Time sense. Okay, cool. I did also want to say that you can, like I said, these chats. I know not everybody has the consistency or wants to support the podcast and YouTube channel, as a patron, but we do have the ability for you guys to send these chats if you want to send. I think they call them super chats or stickers and thanks and all this stuff. You can even do it after the show's live if you just want to leave a comment. And if you guys do that, I'll definitely shout it out on the podcast, or if I'm live streaming and you leave a comment like that, I'll definitely shout that out as well. Because we appreciate any support and we want to call out those people that are supporting us, especially while we're doing this live. Okay. But getting back to McTavish, so not only that, you have crews like Maw who can really take advantage of getting him into position. You have Zip. A lot of people are liking McTavish into Zip. And I think Maw and Zip are probably the two that you're going to see McTavish in the most, just because they can really leverage that. Not only with focus, like Maw 1 will pulse out focus to all the models, but you'll also see him in Zip because Zip can move him around. Plus, with showboating, you're going to really, you're really going to get the cards that you need. Maw draws a lot of cards. Zip filters a lot of cards. If you bring Bogg out of keyword, which we'll talk about him in a second, he moves and filters your hand. So you can really have this sexy hand to really leverage that 245 gun with McTavish. The other thing that didn't come up because my opponent didn't have guns. McTavish is squishy, right? There's nothing keeping him up a ton because he's just a henchman. He does have this demise now where once per turn, you can discard a card to heal him 4 and drop a scheme marker. So that demise will keep him up once, but defense 5, 9 boxes, he will go down if your opponent focuses on him a ton. I do see Yeah, so we have in the chat, do you think Zoraida hires McTavish now? So if you're playing Neverborn, I think you prefer Angel Eyes, honestly, because Angel Eyes gun is a bit better than McTavish. McTavish is a little bit obviously more mobile, and I don't feel like needs as much support as Angel Eyes. In Bayou, if I was playing Zoraida, and if there's a board where you think a 14-inch ignore concealment friendly fire gun is going to be good, I think you bring him. I think he's solid, and you have the Kurgan to help maneuver him around. So yeah, I could see Zoraida. I'm not a big I like the green skins, right? So uh, I don't play Zoraida a lot, but I think if you're a Zoraida player, this is a good tool to have. You probably won't bring it every game because you don't always need a 14-inch gun that does all that, but super flexible. I don't see why. I don't think there's a. I don't know if I can think of a matchup where McTavish is bad. Probably if there's also guns, like strong guns or willpower attacks, probably McTavish doesn't love. Um, so yeah, I could see that with Zoraida, definitely. So Gator Scramble, if you guys haven't looked at this bonus, it used to be, I think you could only target ski markers. And this is why he probably fits a little better with Zip and Moz because you already have markers that you can put in line of sight of McTavish to give him another 2-inch push. Hey, Beard's in the chat. But I will say, now that you can target any of those markers, you set it up with Maw or Zip or anything else that's already on the board. Uh, you you can get a third shot, which I think this is the big thing McTavish was missing was his stat six or his gun wasn't stat 6. Now it is. The Gator Scramble now gives you on a mask trigger, and you only need a 2 for this to go off. So if you have a crappy mask in your hand, you can just, hey, 2 masks, I get a free shot. Reposition, I don't think the reposition is going to come up much because you you already want the mask to get the shot, and you already disengage essentially with on the move. And listen, Cody and Beard, I want it to be civil in the chat. I know you guys just streamed your game, uh, but Levy's a jerk. I'm just going to leave it with that. Okay. So no brawling in the chats. Yeah, and exactly. Beard said, if you have a 9 Soulstone model, you want 3 solid actions. Either you want your bonus to be insane, or you want to get the ability to get 3 attacks, which McTavish now has. You can get a 2 of tomes to draw a card, which is great. And then once again, I Can Dig It is fantastic. Just the ability to drop markers. I didn't take it in the game I played, but Ensnared is a very real possibility with McTavish. You just on the move, you can literally charge a model. You can then, well, I don't know if you could do it quite like that. You would probably have to just walk up to a model, maybe interact or shoot to get the I Can Dig It trigger, get the Gator Scramble to I Can Dig It to drop another ski marker to set up Ensnare. I suppose you could charge a model, and you could do the bonus to back out. I Can Dig It, drop a scheme, shoot, I Can Dig It, drop a scheme, and then you have Ensnared set up. So I think that I Can Dig It trigger is like everybody's looking at the armor piercing, I think, and being like, oh my goodness, this model's great at armor piercing. But I'm telling you that I Can Dig It trigger is going to score you points, which points is prizes, right? So I think that's the one that you want to look for as a McTavish player is how to leverage your on the move, how to leverage that 2-inch push off the bonus, get I Can Dig It, and then getting a third shot when you think you can kill a model. And once you've played Malifaux enough, you know when you got a model dead to rights. You're like, okay, I got a stacked hand. This is not a henchman. This isn't a master. I can kill that model unless I black Joker or they red Joker, which is a possibility. So yeah, I'm definitely high on McTavish. I didn't think I was going to. Looking at his card initially, I was just like, I don't know. But looking at it now, this thing has a bunch of gas on it. I think if you see McTavish on the table, you want to pressure him because if you're just letting this dude run around, I think he's going to wreck your crew or score points and just cause problems. And he's a versatile, so it's just 9 Soulstones flat. Doesn't matter if there we go. it doesn't matter if you take him out of keyword because he's versatile. So it's just 9 soul stones no matter what crew you put him in. Let's see here. So that's McTavish. Big fan. I'm, I'm, I mean, Beard's gonna hook me up with a McTavish model, so I mean, I'm definitely a fan of it. So we'll see how I can make it work with Maw Zip and I'm playing Brewmaster and Big Hat. He is size 3, so unless I increase the size of Lenny, you really can't toss him, but you could put the upgrade on Lenny to make him size 4 and then toss McTavish around the board. That seems pretty fun to me. Yeah, that's the thing. The front of his card is pretty much all relevant stuff. The only one, like I said before you guys hopped in, that I'm not high on is Swamp Screen making friendly ski markers concealing. It's fine. I just don't think it's going to come up that much. I think most McTavish players will probably forget about it, which is fine. Um, that's a good question. Let's look that up real quick. Beard was like, if Somer fails an action, can McTavish take a shot? So Somer has an action. It's called Somer Teeth Jones. Let's see here. I'm an expert shot. So after this model fails a gun action targeting an enemy, friendly Big Hat model may suffer 1 damage to take a melee action. So looking at that, no, yeah, it's a melee action, Beard. So he can take the Gator Bite. I mean, that's not nothing. But you already got Lenny for the min 3, so I don't think you need it for that. All right, so that's the first model that I wanted to talk about. And the other one is looking at, not games, we're looking at Uncle Bogg. So I know some people are down on Bogg. I don't quite understand it, but that's fine. So a couple of the big things with Bogg. Still has, so here's the things that I liked about Bogg that they kept, and then we'll talk about the things that they took away, right? So the first thing is they kept Chatty, which is fine, and they kept Natural Musk, which I like. Natural Musk is good because it's just negatives. He still has Laugh Off, which one of the big reasons I bring Bogg is he sits there and you can't move him. So I like that they kept that because he still fits that role. He's still 9 soul stones. They didn't bump him up. Tear Apart, it's fine. You still have the Tear Off a Bite trigger. I'll talk about that in a minute. Off the Path, I'm so happy that they kept this on the card. He filters cards. Fantastic. Okay. I still like that they kept it. I'll talk about things I don't like here in a minute. They made the Gator harder to summon. Fine. Richard's harder to summon. Okay. Choose a Path. So this used to be the one that you didn't have to flip. It just happened, right? It's a whatever it is, Weary Road, whatever it's called. And they changed it to Choose a Path just because I guess they felt like it was too good and it needed a flip. So it's the same thing. You can drop a ski marker, move a target. Great. So I like that they kept a good bonus. I don't usually summon Richard that much anyways. So, I mean, Cody says that he thinks Uncle Bogg did too much. I think he still does a lot, so I don't even think this is a nerf. I think they just took some of the ridiculousness off his card, which I'll explain now. So they took the built-in RAM off his tear apart trigger. They made it where he also doesn't automatically drop a tide marker, which I think that was stupid. I don't think that was a good decision. Now it's a trigger that you have to get. Weary Road needs a TN. It probably does. Off the Path also used to have this sick RAM trigger where I forget what it's called. It's like Bayou. It's like Gremlin something or other. But basically it made it where after you did the filtering, you got to look at the top 2 cards and discard any of them, which was super good because it was just looking at so many cards. I understand why they got rid of it because it was ridiculous. But the reasons why I brought Bogg, he's still really good at. I don't see any reason why, if you brought Bogg in the past, I don't see a reason why you don't still bring him. Like people are sitting here trying to be like, oh, I don't know if I bring Uncle Bog. I'm just like, why not? Why would you not bring Uncle Bog still? Like, and just explain it to me because he still has laugh off. He still has natural musk. He still can heal himself. It's just not auto now. Off the path is still insane for just filtering through cards. It gives you movement on top of that. You can still move and drop a scheme marker now. It's just you need a 6. So I get that's a moderate card, but still, it's just I don't get the people that think he's not good out of keyword still. The minor changes don't change that for me. Like, honestly, Chum in the Waters, I either forgot about or I usually moved away from my tide markers anyway, so I didn't benefit from it. So I just, like I said, I don't understand it. He's still really good. He's still holding up a space. He's still good in raid the vaults. He's still good for moving your crews around. Those instances where you need your crew to be in specific spots to score points, Bog is just so good at filtering and fixing that you still bring him and he's still just amazing, even for 10 soul stones out of keyword. So haters gonna hate, I guess. If he, I was worried about them nerfing Bog because he's so good, but if they're calling this good and like think this is a fair model, I'm okay with it. He's still good out of keyword. I'll still play him with Maw. I'll still play him. I don't usually play him with Zip, but I could force that if I wanted to. Um, yeah, it's just still good. So those of you that were hoping you wouldn't see Bog as much, I think you still see him. It's just he's a really good model. All right, and then let's hop over to the guild real quick. The spiciness of the guild. Go into Lady Sonia somewhere. There she is. Sonia Creed. I know a lot of people are excited about Miss Sonia. Yeah, I agree. Going back to that beard, inclement weather, not dropping the tide marker for just being an angler like most of the keyword. Little questionable, kind of insane. It's whatever. If you bring them in keyword, you're gonna have a lot of tide markers. If you bring them out of keyword, you just have to hit that ram, I guess. And like I said, it doesn't even matter that much. Yeah, bonus content, Icky. Because I did get a game against Sonia Creed, and I did watch some of the game that Cody and Beard played today on stream. Rich was a savage with Leviticus. Check it out at Beard Mini's YouTube channel. It was it was interesting, and it was cool though because you still got to see some of the new stuff that I think Cody and other guild players are going to be excited about. So I did want to talk about her real quick, not just talking about Bayou stuff, but real quick I want to talk on Sonya. So things that stood out when I was playing against her. So I'm playing. What was I playing against her? I was just doing Maw Tucket. I played Maw 2, which was a good decision because there are some things that helped me not catch so much on fire, but there was still a lot of fire. So the big things that I noticed, because I have played Sonya before she got buffed here, and I saw some things I was very excited about with her. So first thing I noticed is the defense 6 with the tome resist trigger. That's a big deal because she used to be defense 4, right? So it was pretty easy to just like abuse her. So that's the first thing I noticed was okay, defense 6, that kind of sucks. She's a kind of a little more difficult to hit. Okay. That was the first thing I noticed. Arcane Reservoir, giving her an extra card is a little terrifying. And if you have any kind of card filtering or card draw with some of the other models, that can be kind of good. So that's another thing where it's like, oh, great. Witch Hunter all of a sudden has 7 cards. That's probably good. Pyrotechnics really started lighting things on fire. And keep in mind, she has a blast on her melee now and her ranged attack, which isn't a gun. That's huge. So she can put blast markers within 2 inches of the target. So really can get kind of insane pretty quick. So she has a 2-inch reach because I guess her sword is 2 inches. Great. 235 blast on moderate and the severe. And it can do some ping healing, which is great. She can summon a Witchling Stalker, which I still don't see those too much, but you'll see them now because why not have one for a ram? Um, I see more use of sapping flames. I don't think you want to get too close with Sonya. If people come into you, 2, 3, 5, is fine enough with the blast. I do notice though, hmm, I would hope that Witchbane would have put out some burning, but I guess it doesn't, which is fine. Sapping flames though, this thing starts putting out an insane amount of burning. I mean, you get burning 3 if you're damaged, and it's 1 blast, 1 double blast, and then 3 double blast, and it ignores shielding and incorporeal. So really good at. I mean, if you play any Karai models, they're just gonna evaporate and die to burning, right? So yeah, pretty good. Let's see here. Drain magic, always good. Draw out secrets. This didn't come up in our game, but I could see 12 inches away putting out an insane amount of burning. I mean, you do this twice with draw out secrets. You can set up ensnare or other things like deathbeds from 12 inches away. Seems pretty insane. Pretty good. This is kind of the trap though, and I think this is, I was talking to Rich about this with Magical Inquisition. This is the thing people are excited about with the summons, and it's cool. But I did notice that you can bait a Sonya player super hard with this. There was turn 1. I feel like they want the summon. Like it's something where it's like this needs to happen. And I feel like you can bait the Sonya player hard. And I did this with the Rockhopper. The Rockhopper got burning, and I knew Sonya was probably going to activate in the next, activation or two. So I just took the Rockhopper and I just ran him behind a building. And literally Sonya had to come around the corner of this building. I think she had to double walk to get there to do the Magical Inquisition. So not only did she have to come around, but then she was like within, I think, 6 or 8 of the Rockhopper. And to do this, you have to peel off the burning. So now I think I was burning 5 or 6 on the Rockhopper. Now he's burning nothing just to get a summon, which was fine. I mean, I think Sonya summoned a Hexbow, but now it's within 3 of Sonya. So then I was able to, what did I take into it after that? I think I took maybe Maw Tucket or somebody into it and just started like doing some serious damage to that summon model. So I think you can really bait a Sonya player with Magical Inquisition if there's like a limited amount of burning out on the, especially turn 1. Arcane Infusion, I actually think this is pretty cool. I didn't see it used, but I see this and I kind of like it because it puts fast on a friendly witch hunter. So giving fast to like Director Rodriguez, that seems pretty good. And then you get to draw 2 cards if you want to end the burning condition, which I'm a fan of drawing cards. We are just saying if you can draw cards, it's pretty good to have. But also putting hazardous burning 2 out, like you could, and this is where I think it's interesting. You could put fast on Director Rodriguez, get the Smoldering Soul trigger to have a hazardous burning 2 aura around him, and then you're just in the middle of, models. And if they want to do anything to that model, like Director Rodriguez, you're just money, right? They're just stacking burning up. Now, obviously, I was playing Maw 2, so it didn't matter because Maw can ignore, and her models can ignore hazardous terrain, so that literally didn't matter. Let's see here. 1, 2, burning. Yeah. So Cody said he could have been baited into a summon, but the damage was more worth the model. Because the thing is, I think Sonya is better, but her keyword still struggles a bit as far as power level. Like Director Rodriguez is good. The Earn dudes, I haven't seen them on the table yet, so I don't know how good they are. The other stuff's fine if summoned. Hexbows, you could bring one and summon some. Also, the Thralls are really good. Great summons. I think if you can summon a Thrall, that's money. That's kind of, do not use Arcane Infusion to remove the slow on your summon. So you're saying Beard don't do that? I mean, I wouldn't do that. I'd put it on a beat stick. I think Arcane Infusion is, if I was playing Witch Hunter, I think Arcane Infusion is purely for Director Rodriguez. And if you could do that every turn, I don't see why I wouldn't do that, because I'll go to his card here in a minute after I'm done talking about advanced orders. But to me, that's who I would be putting that on. I think Cody's right with the Steward is probably what you, especially summons in Witch Hunter, but aren't worth 2 APs from your master. But I think Arcane Infusion is purely for Director Rodriguez, which I'll get to here in a minute. Advance Order, push this model up to 2 other friendly Witch Hunter models within range, up to 4 inches in any direction. That bonus is insane, and you only need a 4 for it to go off. So great for unpacks, great for just moving kind of the mosh pit around. I was going to say, Icky Pumpkin just said, Advanced Order, that's like having 3 Doctor's Orders, and you don't have to discard a card. Really solid. And that bonus is going to not only win games, but it's going to just help with unpacks, help, get some of the clunkiness out of the crew. So with Sonya, I did want to, talking about the good things on the card, right? I do want to kind of look at some of the things that you're going to really use in this. So first thing, Director Rodriguez, this is the target that I think you're going to make fast and put out that burning aura, that burning hazardous terrain, because he's 3, 4, 5 min damage. So if you can leverage this 3, 4, 5, you get 3 swings, stat 6, you're going to do 9 damage min to something and just destroy it. And also getting that Rising Flames trigger on his melee is super good. Even his Breath of Fire is insane, right? And he is Hovering Flame. So he's mobile on his own, and you can move him with the bonus with Sonya. It's just insane. Like, there's no reason to not bring Director Rodriguez every single game. It's just insane. He's just insane. And with the new Sonya, you start with Director Rodriguez, right? So you definitely hire him. I would make Director Rodriguez fast every turn, putting that hazardous terrain out every turn, or drawing cards so I can figure out what's going on, right? So just beautiful things there. So let's see here. What do these Ashbringers even do? Sorry, I'm going to take a side note and look at this real quick. This isn't a deep dive on Witch Hunter, I promise, but I do want to look at it real quick because Sonya just kind of turns a bunch of things on now that she's just better, right? Target power markers 2, 3, 4. Fall. Okay, yeah, I see why people don't bring these a ton then. Okay. Let's see here. Sam Hopkins. I don't know. Do you make Sam fast at all? Fast gun with 2, 3, 4 crit strike. It's not terrible. Creep along. Also, keep in mind, sometimes just making your model fast for scoring schemes is just good. Like maybe Sonya's not near a ballot or not near a cloak and dagger marker. So you make something fast to get there and then drop a scheme or interact with the strat. So yeah, we're talking about damage, but also just scoring points, right? Seems good. I think Sam, I always forget Sam Hopkins has rapid fire. So essentially, if you make him fast, you can get 4 shots with this dude. Doesn't seem terrible. Doesn't seem bad. Bring the Steward, give him focus. Seems good. So some of the summons that I think you focus on, I don't know what the Queller does. I don't know what Stalkers do. They're fine if they're free models. But I think you want a Thrall to kind of be a tar pit or a distraction for a couple APs. So I think that's kind of one of the things that you just summon. Because, min 3 damage, never bad. Let's see here. So I would summon, basically it's the Witch Ring Thrall, and then the other thing that I would summon is the Hexbow. And I don't think I summon anything else. I think these are the things I mainly summon. Obviously, there's probably tech there where it's like, oh, maybe the handler's good, or oh, maybe this is good. But generally speaking, Hex, Bow, and Thrall, that's what I'd focus on. Me just being kind of a novice to Witch Hunter and not playing them consistently. Because the other models are fine, but I'm going to focus on one other thing that I think you bring automatically. So the other thing that I think you bring, and we already talked about it a little bit. So if you're playing the new Sonya, I think the Guild Steward's just good for her. Companion's good, right? You can heal stuff. Also Sharp Wit, putting out slow, making it harder for your opponent to be efficient. Dispel Magic, putting focused out. Foul Mouth Motivation, healing and putting focus out. He's just good for really making either Sam or Director Rodriguez just focus, beat sticks, I'm going to murder you. And putting out a bunch of burning. If you haven't played against Sandeep, 2 specifically, just when your opponent's crew, the entire thing is just on fire and burning, and you just see the life draining from all the models. That's what I think you should be doing with this version of Sonya. Is just she's putting out so much burning. You are also making it efficient for your beaters like Director Rodriguez, Sam, another one I'm going to talk about here in a second. And you're just getting as much just pain out as possible. And you're just let them bleed, I think is going to be a very good scheme for this crew. Another model that I would definitely bring most games is the Pale Rider. I think this is pretty... There's a couple reasons why. One, the unpack with Ride With Me, really good. Helping your models get up the board. Revel in Conflict, putting out injured, healing your crew up, just putting out some burning with the 4 ram trigger. And then that rifle, it's just another good gun, right? So just a good gun to help support Sonya, to help kind of put Staggered out. Because remember, you're putting Staggered and Injured out with the Pale Rider. So that gun is going to do 2, 4, 5, stagger you to make you slower, and Injured to make it easier to hit you with those just killing blows. Just pretty good going with her. So I think that's something I would bring often with Director Rodriguez, is just that. So let's see here. What's that? That's 21 plus the Steward is... So that's 27 stones. So I think that would be... If I was playing Sonya, once again, I'm not a pro Sonya player. Like, I don't play her a lot. But seeing what that new card does, I think those 3 models would be the starting point for 70% of my lists. Especially in like Raid, Cloak and Dagger, things like that, for sure. Any other Versatiles? I haven't looked a lot at those yet. Guild Mage is fine. People still use the Guild Mage more than I would, honestly. So, yeah. Let's go back to Sonya. That's the new Sonya Creed. I think her keyword's great now with her. I think you can play it and win a lot of games with this new card. I think people, especially at like the Houston Fodown, I know there's a couple other bigger tournaments popping off here not too far along. But Sonya's you're going to have to really put a big think into how to deal with her, because she's going to give you problems. Bracer. All right, well, I guess I got to look at Bracer because Cody seemed excited about that. Okay. Bracer, what do you do? Okay, Shield Slam, Pistol, Heroic Intervention, Shield, okay. Herald's fine on the move, it's fine. Shield's up, Arcane, draw card. Seems fine. I'm actually really curious when this starter box comes out for Guild to see how good it's going to be. Yeah, I'm kind of curious. That starter box looks like it's going to be at least fun and have some useful things in it. I like the direction they're going with those starter boxes. They seem just more useful. But I'm curious to see all these erratas and kind of how they worked out. We talked about Sonya. I think she's in a great spot right now to at least be relevant. She used to have kind of this niche, like she was a cute pick and somebody who knew what they were doing could win games with her, but it was still sometimes an uphill battle. Uh, so that's the one thing I would say about Sonya is that now she's good and with triggers that are very relevant and ways to help support her crew to make them better. So even though we can all probably agree that the minions in Witch Hunter are weaker when compared to stronger keywords, but one, they can be free now, essentially free with a summon. And two, she now makes them better. She can position them with advanced order to move them around. She can make them fast when you need to, preferably your good models like Director Rodriguez. And she can get Witchling Stalkers for free after killing stuff. It's just, and burning all over the place. I just think she's fantastic now. Curious to see if the title gets any kind of love still. Title's kind of cute, especially with Flame Burst. But see, here's the difference and probably why you don't see Unmasked. And you see this one just pretty much bank that the first version is going to be taken. Is Flame Burst is a gun. Guns are fine, but if you don't ignore concealing and you don't ignore cover, and if you are, shooting at stuff that's engaged, it becomes a real problem, right? Whereas when you look at Sapping Flames, it's not quite as far, but it's not a gun. It's against willpower. Willpower, a lot of crews, especially, playing Bayou, low willpower, you're going to get burned alive. Whereas obviously that's against defense. Yeah, this is just more flexible card, so she's just going to be really, really good to see. And just bring good stuff with her. Bring the good stuff. And then going back to Bayou, Mctavish, very happy with. I think Mctavish is going to see a lot of play. He's not a world beater, though, because that Min 2 is going to hold him back a little bit. His mobility is where I think a good player is going to make him really sing. Being in the right spot, shooting things that he can just take off the table, dropping scheme markers where you want them to be. He's just going to be really good for that. Unimpeded is no joke. There's a lot of thick boards out there where Mctavish is just going to be solid. And then, once again, going back to Uncle Bogg, I'm not going to pull his card up. He's fine. You're still going to see him. No issues there. But let me know what you guys think of these live streams. I like having people in the chats. I like people supporting the podcast. So if this is something that is not only good for the community, but good for the podcast, where people that want to support us, but not being a patron, because obviously I know paychecks go up and down for everybody. So sometimes just throwing a buck with these super chats is better for people than doing a subscription and giving money to the podcast as a patron. So if you want to do these chats and throw money at the YouTube channel, we'd appreciate that as well, because like I said, we just love putting content out for y'all, and the easier it is to pay for those expenses, it's definitely a great thing. So let me know in the chat what you guys think about these newly buffed models and slightly nerfed models in Bog's case. And I'll start doing the, don't think I have a problem doing this like once a week for y'all. Just getting on here, chatting in the evening, and just letting y'all know what's going on. Also, I will pull it up probably next time I do this, where I'll have just Vassal up. So that way, if I want to show something with an interaction, I'll do that as well. But yeah, I'm really excited to do these streams more for y'all, because I was pleasantly surprised at the traction the other one got. So, but yeah, until next time, thanks for all your support that you guys give us. Thanks to our patrons especially, and thanks to a couple people, looks like, did some of the chats. And till next time, flip cards, flip tables, and we will see you all.